Hi, I'm Tim Elliott. So I've been marketing now for just over 23 years. I've done it all. I've been agency side, been client side, been a consultant. I have ran and owned agencies. So I've got a good picture of what marketing means to business and what good marketing strategy is because I've been fortunate enough to have thousands of strategic level conversations with businesses across industries and business models. And hopefully, today's short talk, I will help simplify the topic of marketing strategy and give you some questions to ask yourself that, if answered, you will create your own effective marketing strategy. So let's crack on. Number one, everything starts with why. It wasn't me who said that, it was Simon Sinek. But he's right, especially when it comes to marketing strategy. The first thing you need to understand and have clarity on is, why are you doing it? Why should anyone else care? Why is it important? This will form, answering the question why will form your brand, which is the heart of your marketing. I like to refer brand as a compass. Right? Your brand should always drive you to your true north. There's so many options out there, especially when it comes to marketing, of stuff, of activity you could do. But it's about doing the right stuff, getting the right message to the right people at the right time. To do that, you want to know what right is, and answering the why questions we've just shared will help you do that. So once you've done that, it's all about who. Who do you choose to serve? Who will care about this idea, this product, this service that you want to put into the world? To do that, you need to understand a few things. You need to understand the category and the market and the segments and the target that you choose to serve. This will help make a marketing strategy not just a great marketing strategy, but an effective one. So let me explore that a little more for you. So we all know the brand Starbucks, the coffee shop. I'm going to use them as an analogy of how to answer the question who. So Starbucks, their category, the broadest aspect of people they want to serve, are coffee drinkers. Starbucks don't want to bother if you don't like coffee. You're probably not for them. There's an awful lot of people who are coffee drinkers, right? It's not really practical to reach all of the coffee drinkers in the world. So what you and Starbucks need to do is refine that down to a market, right? To your market, people you can actively go after. So for Starbucks again, we've got every coffee drinker is possibly the right customer, but really they only want the market of the out-of-home coffee drinker. We don't want to really target people who are at home and have coffee, because I don't know about you, I've not got a Starbucks downstairs. So it's the out-of-home coffee drinker, which is their ideal market. But still, that's a lot of people. So we have to refine that even more. We have to refine that into what we call segments. So segments of the market. Right? So we look at Starbucks again. What are good segments? What are good segments to put time and energy and money towards reaching if you were Starbucks? Number one would be the commuters. So pre-COVID, when we were allowed to commute into the office, there'd be a bunch of us that had won a Starbucks and a pastry before work to power us through that morning. Right, so we've got the commuter segment of the out-of-home coffee drinker. But not just them. What about the people who didn't get into town, into cities a bit earlier? They're probably starving at lunch. So we've got people who need another massive coffee and a sandwich and a cake to power them through the afternoon. So we've got the lunch timers. But there's people in between there. don't know if you've been to Starbucks in between kind of lunch and dinner. There's people working, there's people shopping, there's people catching up with friends with cakes and coffee. So we've got the coffee and cakers, or the freelance workers in between. These are just 3 really good examples of segments of a market. I hope you can see how you need to understand the broadest category and then the best market and then target segments for what you choose to serve. But even more pointy than that, right? If we're going to run effective, measurable, time-bound marketing campaigns, you need to understand target markets. Target markets are even further filtered down versions of your segments. So, for example, for Starbucks again, we would go after commuters. But for people who work in Canary Wharf in London, to go to the Starbucks at the Canary Wharf tube station before 9 a.m. So really, really specific. One store, one time slot, one segment. You can put a really good time-bound offer. Come and buy a bacon butty before 9 a.m. from this Starbucks and you'll get another one free. Really specific. You need to understand all of those when you answer the question who, because category and market will allow you to build long-term brand awareness, because great businesses are built over time. So you need to understand and put time and effort into long-term brand awareness that goes to the whole of the market or even category. But in order to focus and achieve long-term brand value, you need to have short-term sales activations that support you building over the long term. That's why you need segments and targets. You need to be more specific and drive action and revenue and sales in the short term to allow you to focus in the long term. One of my favorite exercises I use is with clients when trying to get them to understand who they choose to serve in marketing is to create an ideal customer. Just use one side of A4 or one piece of paper and describe your ideal customer in as much detail as possible. Where are they? What type of job do they have if you're serving B2B? What needs do they have? Are they in charge of increasing revenue or saving costs? Are they in charge of increasing market share or reducing time to market? What sort of activities, interests and opinions or AIOs do they have? What do they do? How can you get to know them? How can you build them, give them a personality? And I love this exercise because building an idea customer doesn't mean that we'll just focus on them. We will pick other people up, but it's always best to be laser focused when it comes to marketing. So aim for your ideal customer, you'll pick other people up. I had a great client I was working with earlier this year before lockdown that rang me after going to a conference a day, and he was super excited about 4:30 in an evening. And he rang me up going, Tim, there's Justins everywhere. Because the week before we'd done this ideal client exercise and aligned everybody about how to recognize a Justin, their ideal client. He was so excited, it was amazing. So do that exercise for yourself. It's very useful. The third question is how. How are you going to show up in your customers' world, right? How are you going to win? It's noisy out there. It's competitive out there. How are you going to win? This comes down to a few things. In fact, 3. So this comes down to differentiation, distinctiveness, and position or proposition is also another word. So let's look at those individually. So differentiation is your points of difference when compared to an alternative solution to whatever you offer, right? It doesn't have to be a direct competitor. It can be just another solution, right? So we have a look at fast food, for example, right? If I was Domino's, my direct competition could be Pizza Hut, but I'm not just in competition with them. I'm also in competition with the chip shop, maybe McDonald's or KFC. There are other solutions to meet my hunger need. Right? So how are you different to the other people? What makes you you? Why should we choose you to buy from you? So differentiation. Second part is distinctiveness. Distinctiveness is how are you visually different? How would I recognize you out in the world, out in the ether, out on the internet? What makes you you visibly? Do not underestimate the power of distinctiveness. Some brands do this well. Nike and the swoosh and Just Do It, we will all know. McDonald's golden arches and Just Loving It, we will all know. But what are your brand codes? When I say brand codes, I mean logo, I mean colors, I mean fonts, I mean slogans, I mean shapes. How distinctive can you be in the market? And it's really important. There's a bit of theory that goes along with this called the von Restorff effect. And the von Restorff effect says the more differentiated and distinctive you are in a market, the more remembered you are. The more remembered you are, the more chosen you are. The von Restorff effect. But finally, there's a position. So position is one of these things in marketing and brands that isn't owned by us, the business owner, isn't owned by us, the entrepreneur. It lives in the mind and in the perception of the people we choose to serve. We can manage it. We can try and manage the meaning. That's all we can do. Nudge it in the right direction. But what is our position? What are we for and what are we against? Have a look at Brewdog as a great example here. Brewdog are visibly against off-the-shelf mass market lagers. Right? In their billboards, they put Budweiser and such against themselves visibly in the advert. What's your position? What's your proposition? What's your proposition? Why should people choose you? In a sentence. Another version and a local company, Eat, Sleep, Live in Nottingham, are really good at this. So check them out, Eat, Sleep, Live. They do very high value, recycled, superb quality furniture. But their proposition and position is against IKEA, the throwaway disposable furniture days, right? They want to create furniture that you love, that's part of the family, that you hand down. How will you show up in the world of your customer? How are you going to get them to choose you? Finally, is what are you going to do? What actions are you going to take? What messaging are you going to put out there? What are you going to do and who's responsible? Now, don't get overwhelmed here. It's the activities of effective marketing. The truth behind effective marketing is nothing to do with budget. I've worked with some clients that are lucky enough to have multi-million pound a year marketing budgets, and still we do zero budget planning because constraints of not having a budget makes us more creative. And good marketing is good marketing no matter what your budget is. All budget buys you is scale and speed. You can still be an effective marketer with no budget, with the tools you have at the end of your fingers. So what are you going to do? There's no one size fits all. I wish I had answers for you of do this many blog posts, tweet this many times, get onto TikTok. But there's no answers. You will know the answers. Nobody knows your business better than you. And nobody knows your customers better than you because you've answered the who questions. Go where your audience are. Go a bit wider, understand the category in the market that we discussed to reach more people, but focus down on your segments, your targets, your ideal customer. How will you get the right message to the right people at the right time? Message always beats media. Don't worry about the format. It's not important. You should be able to distribute your message through whatever format you need. The message is the important thing. And understanding what that message is a combination of answering why, who, and how. So go forth, plan effective marketing. Do it at a pace and a frequency and a cadence that you're happy with, but do it well. Don't measure yourself on the amount of activity you do. Measure yourself on the impact the activity makes. Marketing, effective marketing, and a good marketing strategy is all about impact, not activity. I've been Tim Elliott. I thank you. If you want to get hold of me, my details are below. Good luck.